Hi, welcome to my late summer slash fall faves and like general inspo. I don't really know what the title is, it's a work in progress, but I just want to share and kind of just like yap some of my favorite things and like just what I've been kind of getting inspired by. This is gonna include like fashion, knitting, because I am kind of a crafty person, as you may know, and then also like a little bit of like media that I've been consuming. I don't know why, I'm just chucking it all together. I've got a list written down, and then I also have my laptop for my Pinterest board, and I will also show you kind of examples of what I'm talking about via here, but also probably like pull stuff from real life. Okay, let's get into this. Okay, also, let's ignore the whole mess behind me that is my yarn stash, which we will be discussing, but then also let's like pretend that's not there. I did put this up on my wall like 5+ years ago, cut me some slack. First on my list is scraps. Now, I've been collecting my scrap yarn for the past like 3 years, which is as long as I've been knitting, and like no piece is too small. This is some of my scrap yarn. This is like, I'm making a scrap ball, which I will talk about in a second, but like literally I have kept, this is not like, I have kept everything. Every little possible piece I have kept. My yarn stash has basically become just scraps, or like what people would define as scraps, because I think there are varying definitions of scrap depending of yarn scraps depending on who you are. There's like whole balls that you get from like once you finish like bigger sweater quantities, and you'll just have like one-offs left, and then there's like what I just showed you, which is like small tiny pieces. Long story short, my yarn stash has just become yarn scraps, and I need to clear it out. She needs to go. So I've been trying to look for like projects where I can do exactly that. I've been wanting to clear out my stash for a while, but like I think the final thing that pushed me to actually do it was Loopy Studio's stripy cardigan pattern that is free. And so I've actually cast that on with like a lot of my larger scraps, mostly in my green and blue yarn. So I do still have like a whole pink section that I need to work through some way or another. But that's, I think I would say arguably that pattern is meant for like bigger quantities of scraps. And so working on that, there might be a video about it. Another thing that I want to try is scrap balls of yarn. So this is basically smaller pieces or smaller quantities of yarn that I've magic knotted together, and I've not been paying attention to like different yarn weights and everything. I've just like stuck it all together. This is kind of inspired by, I'm going to mispronounce this name, please, I apologize so deeply, is Larke Bagger. I feel like if you've been on knitting Instagram, it's another person that you've definitely seen. So amazing, has like 2 books published, I believe, and she really has like a creative outlook on scraps, I would say. She has so many patterns that are just with like yarn scraps, and I don't actually know because I haven't purchased either book, but I think this is something she does. And there's like a specific sweater that I keep seeing kind of on Pinterest. It's like this looser gauge, like I think it's probably an 8 or a 10 millimeter, and it's, I believe, a ball of like yarn like this held with just like one color in maybe like a worsted weight, and it's just so beautiful, and I love the color variation, so I want to try to do something like that. So what I've been doing is kind of assembling my yarn scrap balls so that I can make a sweater like that. So that's kind of a fall plan of mine. Whilst I've been working on that, another person that I follow, like a crocheter, actually started selling yarn balls like that, but really much nicer ones where they're actually like color coding them almost, like they're in rainbow order, which I think is so beautiful. So definitely check that out. It's Yuri Mick. I'm so sorry. Do you have a lot of like smaller pieces of yarn that are like too small to magic knot, or I just don't want to bother magic knotting them, and I want to actually card them out and make them into a scrap bat? I've seen people do this before, and like I've been wanting to do it for a while, which is why I've held on to all these scraps. And so that's another thing that I'm hoping to do at some point. I would definitely like card everything out and then probably combo it with like just some plain fiber, just so that like the staple length is long enough to spin, but we'll see. Really quick, this is my progress. I won't take it out of the basket because it's really annoying, but this is my progress on my loopy studio cardigan. I'm probably hoping to cast off the body ribbing today, but we'll see. Next on my kind of like favorites list is buttons. I feel like everyone and their mother has been obsessed with buttons this year, which is like great, but not just in a functional way, also in a very decorative way. Like I feel like it's kind of like unnecessary buttons, which I really love. I also think it's kind of sustainable as well, because a lot of people are just like going to the thrift store and buying like big buckets of like old buttons. One person that I've been following for a long time, who I really recommend that you go check out, is Tessa Perlo. She's been using buttons for a while in her like embroidery work and just in general as on like clothes in really fun ways. I think specifically of her dress. She had this dress where she embroidered like little like flowers made of buttons. Really cool. She also has a YouTube channel that I am a frequent watcher of, so highly recommend checking that out as well. And then one thing that I have been and continue to be obsessed with is like ceramic buttons. What I mean by this is I actually have some examples. Let me show you. There's a ceramicist in my that I cross at like local kind of like artisan markets, and she always has these like ceramic buttons. I love them. This is not like a new obsession for me. This is a dress I made 3 or 4 years ago. It's made out of old tablecloths, but I used ceramic buttons that she had made that I had bought. I think they're so stunning. They're obviously like a little heavier than your regular button, but they are just like, I just think they're such a statement and they're so gorgeous, and I'd love to make some. Unfortunately, I don't have access to like a kiln and like glazes and stuff. So my solution to that has been I've made them out of like air dry clay, and I'm gonna paint them. This has been something I've been working on for a while. I've just like, they've been dry and I just haven't painted them. Here they are. They're not perfect. I don't know if I like just like the 2 holes, nor are they like perfectly shaped. They're a little wonky. But I do want to try. We'll see if I ever get around to painting them. But like, quite the collection of kind of thrifted and secondhand buttons. I can show you a couple really quick that I just have like at my desk. These ones. Oh, I love these ones actually a lot. But I really recommend, if you are looking for buttons, to not buy them new, just because I think you can find really great ones secondhand and at your like local kind of smaller thrift stores. A lot of these are not from like your Value Village or your like Salvation Army. They're from like my local thrift, because they will actually individually package them and like sell them for like 25 cents, which is great. Kind of related, but not really. I have been obsessed with stripes this summer. Like, I don't think you understand how deeply this obsession runs, both like in knitting, as you can see, like I literally made this summer, and then but also just like in fabrics and other things as well. I think part of the reason this first happened, actually I think there's 2 reasons. One, I never really buy sweater quantities of yarn. I don't know why. I just feel like it's such a commitment, and then also it feels kind of boring for some reason to knit something in one color. I'm sure someone's gonna be like, that makes no sense, and I completely understand why, but to me it just doesn't feel that exciting. Like, I feel like I need the color change to keep me like interested in it. I don't actually think I've ever knit something in one singular color, now that I'm thinking about it. Smaller things, but not like maybe a little vest. I think I can think of one vest that I've knit all in one color. The rest, not so much. Besides the point. So basically, in order for me to like actually knit stuff and knit like full sweaters, I always have to combo with other yarn, like 2 or more. Let me show you another example that I've done literally recently. I've shown this cardigan now. It's still not done in so many videos, but yeah, this is kind of, originally I got the kind of, this one here, I don't know what I'm gonna, like the color changing pigeon yarn. And then the navy blue kind of came later after to complete the cardigan. The second thing that I think really made me like become obsessed with stripes is a purse that I found at the thrift store that has become like my summer bag. Let me go get it. There's stuff in it, so if you hear anything. But it's this bag right here. I don't think this was like total random pickup for me. I'm really specific with the type of bags I pick up at the thrift store and like what I'll actually use, because I don't know, I'm just very picky when it comes to that stuff. And so this was kind of, in a way it felt like a splurge because it was like $8.99 and I was like, this is ridiculous, like whatever, but I liked it a lot, which is rare. I felt like it was a really good size, like you could fit a lot in here, which is always a thing for me. And then as well, like I was like, it'll be waterproof. I do think it'll be like pretty long lasting, and it definitely has been. Don't think you can actually buy this, which I know someone's gonna be mad about, or maybe not, maybe you don't care. But it's a, like, I don't know if you can tell, but it's designed exclusively for Lancome, which is like a skincare brand. So I think it's actually like a bag that was like kind of made as like a gift at pharmacies. I don't know if you guys have that at your local pharmacies, but I think it's like, I don't think it was ever sold. Like I think it was like, if you buy these products you'll get this bag. And then it ended up at the thrift store and now I have it. But yeah, I absolutely like love this bag. Yeah, as I was saying, I've just like used it all summer, and like it's great because I can fit like water bottle, project, like book, all of it, and there's still space for more always. Like it's got a lot of space secretly. I really want like a stripy skirt. I have not found neither the fabric nor the skirt itself, but I'm manifesting it. Just like a kind of long maxi, or like maybe a little T-length. That's where I'm shooting for. And then I also kind of on the same like projects I'm thinking about is actually sewing my own stripe fabric. And what I mean by that is like basically cutting either plain fabric or patterned fabric into long strips and then like combining it with other colors and sewing kind of my own stripes, if that makes sense. Those are some of the things I'm thinking about. So stripes. Oh, and let me show you one last project. But this was another kind of make from this summer. It doesn't actually fit and I have to like tear it out to like here. Like this whole upper portion is no good, unfortunately. But yeah, again, I want to play with like different weights of stripes and just like combining different like stripes in different ways and like using stripes creatively. I don't know if that like makes sense, but yeah, that is what I'm kind of thinking of. And I think again this kind of like almost works into like this idea of like scraps and just using what you have and using them in like creative ways. I don't know. Next is, really quick, I'm gonna try to rapid fire some of the music I've been listening to this summer. I don't know why, it's just like these are my favorites and I want to share them with people. I have been pretty good about listening to like entire albums this summer, which I'm proud of. So let me share some of the ones that I've really enjoyed. I Quit by Haim. My favorite songs, some of my favorite songs on that album are Gone, Down to Be Wrong, Take Me Back, and Everybody's Trying to Figure Me Out. Really, it's a pretty long album if I'm not mistaken. Like I think the runtime is about an hour, but let me tell you, I was listening to that like over and over again on loop for like a lot of traveling, so it was really nice. I love their vibe. I'm not a music critic in any way, as you can probably tell. Next one is maybe a little guilty pleasure, but honestly, I'm not guilty about it, is Addison by Addison Rae. So my favorite songs, New York, Money Is Everything, and Summer's Forever. But like honestly, I did just listen to the whole album through and through, kind of like walking around when I was traveling, and it's very like kind of 2000s nostalgia, and like, yeah, I don't know, it's a fun album, and I think sometimes that's what you need. And then, of course, Virgin by Lord. I feel like as a like pure heroin day one girl, like of course, new Lord album meant everything to me this summer. Some of my real quick faves: Favorite Daughter, of course, Current Affairs, and Broken Glass. But like I feel like I'm still digging into that album. I feel like I haven't spent like enough time with it yet. And then TV show, like in terms of TV shows, I watched Adults this summer. It's on Disney Plus, but also I think it's an HBO Max show. I don't know. That doesn't really exist in Canada, I don't think. But that was a really fun show, genuinely. Like, I was laughing out loud. There was a couple moments I had to like skip over though. I'm not gonna lie, as someone who like cringes deeply at TV shows sometimes, I allowed myself to skip over a couple scenes. But I hope they get renewed for a second season. I honestly wish that they had more. I think they had 8 episodes, and I was like, that's so short. I felt they deserved like 15, especially they're like half-hour episodes. As like everyone on earth, it feels I too have been watching The Summer I Turned Pretty. I've watched it like every summer that it has been released, so I felt like it was my civic duty that I needed to. That being said, do I think it's actually good? Of course not. Of course not. I feel like it's almost more of a, I don't want to say hate watch, but I am a lover of, you know, a shitty teen show. So this fits the bill. It's absolutely ridiculous, but it's endlessly entertaining. And you know what? That's okay. I was also looking up, and it turns out it has 11 episodes. I think that's such an odd number. Like, part of me was like, why not just give it 12? But who am I to say anything? I'm also like rewatching The Fosters. That's been like my current thing. I'm at season 3. I've never actually fully finished the show, but like I think I forgot how much drama is packed in. Also, the first season I was like, this is never ending. Like, it never ends. And that's probably because I'm so not used to having like 20 episodes a season anymore. Like, I was like, whoa, so much has happened. It's crazy. But also thinking about maybe starting to watch Friday Night Lights, just because it's free on CBC Gem. If you know what that is, if you're a Canadian girly, yeah, didn't know, but maybe I will watch it. Leave your reviews in the comments. But also I'm looking forward to watching like Gen V and like the release of Olivia Dean's upcoming album, and Florence and the Machines, of course. But yeah, that's it for me. Let me not bore you any longer. Okay, next on my kind of a very sporadic and random list is junk journaling. This looks insane, but I feel like, I don't know, I follow Martina Calvi on Instagram. If you know who that is, I feel like she is like the most aspirational junk journaler there ever was, and nothing I do is even in competition with that. Not that it is a competition, but I just kind of started it. Like, I have been a junk collectioner for a very long time. Maybe you can tell from my walls. But I think this was the first time I actually like really started putting it down in my notebooks. Mainly that started because when I was away, I was kind of doing my own like travel junk journal, which was really fun. And so since coming home, I've like continued that practice. And for me, it's really just like about like, it's an easy way to put stuff down and just kind of like let loose a little. I'm really not like trying to make like perfect pages or like follow a color scheme or anything. It's more just about having fun while doing it. So let me show you really quick. But like, see, like it's nothing really that spectacular, but I have fun with it. And like, this will not be going on social media in any sort of way, but it's fun. I don't know, for me it's just like, oh, let me just put like some of the like random pages together and like not think about it too hard. I followed a little bit of color scheme for this one, but I recommend it. It's a fun little activity. And like, if you're wondering what this is back here, I have this little like ceramic basket where I collect my trash and I just put it all in, and then once it starts to overflow like it is currently, usually that's a sign for me to make a couple pages. So I will be doing that soon, which has also led me to become a bit of a stationery girly. I've been collecting a lot of notebooks, but also just like becoming obsessed with like washi tape. Yeah, it's lots of fun, and like thinking of like little things that you can add to your notebooks and like ways to personalize them. I'm not really like, I think those leather kind of fold over ones are really beautiful, but they're not at all my thing. I'm more of a like fabric and other type of stuff girl. So on a full vibe shift, basically like I don't even want to say recent, because this is like a long standing shoe that I've been obsessed with and have yet to bite the bullet and just buy. Nike Air Riffs. If you don't know what they are, they're like, the best way I can describe them is like a tabby with like a sneaker sandal situation. I don't know. I love them though, and I have loved them for many years. I just think they're so beautiful. Problem is, you don't really find them on the Nike store, or I never really have. Like, I think they do drops of them, but they're never really the colors I want. There's a couple like pastel ones that I've seen throughout the years or like green ones that are so beautiful. I've looked on eBay, they don't have them in my size. Shout out to the size 10 girlies. It's rough out here, but there is a couple pairs that I've found that I was like, oh, I could buy these ones. So I might, but we'll see. But yeah, I think I do just need to bite the bullet, but I love them so much. I just think they're kind of weird, but also like so fun. And they actually look really comfortable. I don't know if they are. But this was like probably reignited because I bought a pair of tabby socks while I was away. Let me see if I have them. Here are my tabby socks. I think they're so fun and so beautiful. And yeah, well, by getting those, I was like, well, now I need the shoes to match, of course. I'm gonna do a quick rapid fire round of kind of other things that I've been obsessed with. But I feel like it's gonna be really repetitive because I think a lot of people mention these, but you know what, it's fine. Filet crochet, except I don't know how to crochet, so I don't think this will ever be in my future, but I would love, I think everyone who's been doing them has so much talent. I'm so amazed by all of it. And yeah, really stunning. And I love the ones where you use them in like, I've seen a couple of people do this, where you like use them in yokes of dresses. Beautiful. Baby doll dresses. I actually desperately want to make baby doll dresses and baby doll tops, like long sleeve ones. I have quite a bit of fabric that I really want to get through and just like take out of my stash. So I'm thinking about that, but we'll see. This is kind of random, but like hooded sweaters, like knit sweaters. There's a couple examples that I'll put up, but yeah, it can I think when I originally saw some of these like a couple years ago, I was not so into it, but now I just think they look so fun and just so beautiful. And yeah, there's not much else to say really, to be honest with you. This is something that I kind of tried to do. If you saw my like summer projects video, I don't remember what I called it, but like patchwork pleated skirts, kind of like Shopo, oh my god, Shopoluena. Not me like butchering this, but those kind of skirts. But also I've seen some on Pinterest that are beautiful. I think they're all by the same person, but I don't know their name, and I would really love something like that, or like a wraparound version of that. I don't know. I think I'm into pleated skirts and have been for a while. And I crashed up these pills. Another thing that I'm perpetually like in love with, but like particularly at the moment, because I actually learned how to spin on a wheel, is obviously like hand spun yarn. I just think it's so gorgeous and so stunning, and I really want to buy a spinning wheel, and someone's gonna need to hold me back because that's a little more money than I need to be spending. But it's just, yeah, it's so beautiful. And I'm just like, all the hand spinners out there who like do like very like kind of artsy bats and then just do like a single and then knit that up. Oh, I love it. I love it so bad. Like, it's just, I just think it's so gorgeous, and I want to do that as well so bad. Rezo printing. This is another one that's just so like, what are you even saying? I just love, I think like the vivacity, is that a word? Like the vibrancy, probably better, of like Riso printed stuff, and yeah, would love to try. Okay, that's about it for my list. Thank you for watching. I think my goal for like the upcoming season is honestly just to empty out all my like stashes, so like fabric and yarn. I want to like be like net zero. I don't actually think I'll get there, but I think I can come like closer. And I want to not be purchasing like yarn and stuff and like all of that. I don't want to say I don't want to be purchasing. I just like want to be working towards emptying it so that I can actually like have a little bit of breathing room. But we'll see if that actually happens. Anyways, thank you for watching.